What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 170 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. It's been a very busy weekend, I would say.
That is no joke. That is no joke.
Us. Trying to get everything ready for Draft League to start this week, and we got home, and new rules, and Milwaukee happened, and there's trouble over in Asia, APAC players, and it's a busy Pokemon week.
Genuinely don't even know what's going on over in Korea. I have just heard it is an absolute disaster. If anyone doesn't know what's going on, Wolf made a video about it. Go watch it. That's about the best I can tell you. I haven't watched it. I don't know how quality it is or anything, but it's Wolf, so I'm assuming it's great. But from my understanding, they disqualified the top 4 players from an event because they were going to meme and play with metronome teams on stream, and Pokemon went, "No, you're not doing that." And it was in protest that they were going to do this, and instead, it ended terribly.
Yeah. The TLDR on the whole situation is a lot of the APAC area that's not under the Pokemon Company International. They have their own circuits, their closed circuits for their regions, so Korea, Philippines, Singapore, all that jazz. They got their Pokemon events pretty much pulled at the start of COVID way back, like, what was it, like 4 years ago now, it feels like almost.
Yep.
And so a lot of what they do now is small online tournaments with single elimination ladder style events. Not the greatest for competitive play, really hard to qualify for. Not to mention they had a whole lot of issues this year with connection issues and having to completely redo the tournaments. And so these 4 players that got disqualified in Korea, they had already made that there was no important things going on with what was going to be on stream that day except for prizing support across the board. Literally, that's all it was. They all had their Worlds invite for day 2. They literally were just playing for money. And so they all agreed, hey, we're just going to kind of goof around and have fun with it and kind of just protest a little bit about it. So one of the players goes by the name of Blue on their game, got disqualified for an unknown reason. They kind of didn't really specify when they asked, and because they had made this plan to kind of just meme, like you said, for this event.
Mm-hmm.
And so they disqualified Blue and then let a 4th player in, hoping that maybe this would nip it in the bud, and it didn't. They kind of they talked to the other person who was asked to play. They were kind of in on it too, so it was just a big old mess by the PCI. If they literally just let them play how they wanted to play for money, it would have been fine. This would have never been a problem. But what their reasoning is, all locked-in Pokemon only had one move, and it would not create a conductive battle environment because they all knew Metronome. Their plan was to literally just Metronome battle the top 4 for money. Fun little thing to do, especially if you all have your day 2 invite. Whatever, if they don't care about who gets what money, then literally just let them play with whatever they want. But because this was going to probably be streamed, they weren't really wanting that because they kind of wanted to show off competitive. But Pokemon Company needs to get their shit together because
that's the simplest way to put it, right?
This is just unacceptable to begin with. They should, when everybody locked in Metronome Pokemon, they should have just went with it. Just just let them play.
Well, I guess this is what's gonna happen.
They have put more damage out there by disqualifying the 4 players because of the Metronome thing than they would have if they had just let them play it out with Metronome. It's completely disrespectful to the players. It pretty much says, hey, if you're going to play Pokemon, you kind of have to take it seriously. You can't just come up and goof around because they can just disqualify you whenever they want now. They set that precedent. So, definitely especially, like, it's real rough out in APAC where they're not, like, following the PCI rule set. They have their own staff. They have their own judges. They have their own, like, people in charge over there. So it's really tough to kind of do anything outside of just follow the rules.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a mess and a half.
Enough about bad news, though. Good news, we've got new rule sets to play with.
That is true. So, in case you didn't watch last week's episode, in the middle of it, we got the confirmation that home integration was happening, and it kind of threw off the entire episode.
Yep.
That being said, with that, we also now have access to the Regulation D rule set, which is going to be everything that's not restricted from home that was added is now going to be legal.
Yep.
So that includes, stuff like Landorus and Enamorus and Regieleki and Urshifu and there's some really interesting things that are going to be legal, and that's what we're here to talk about today, right?
Pretty much.
Also, Milwaukee was this weekend. That's basically the long and short of what we're probably going to mention on it.
Yeah, Milwaukee was this weekend. It was it's a Regulation C event. It's kind of cool. It's about all there really is to it.
Yep.
There was some cool stuff. Someone told me about a Magnezone that had made day 2. There was 2 of them, and then there was one that made top 4 in the special event over in Europe, which was really cool.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. There was some really interesting things that went on this weekend. But Regulation C is now a dead format. We don't have to care about it anymore.
Pretty much, honestly. Like, we have what today? What's today? Today's the 5th. Well, it's going to be the 5th when we upload this.
It's not like we have any, majors that are coming up or anything in the next couple weeks.
Surely not. No. I will say this out loud. Do not expect NAIC to be Regulation D. It will be Regulation C. They have confirmed this already.
It is already confirmed that it is going to be so.
Because of the way the events work, the rules will not be legal or to be used in official events until July 1st. And because the event starts in June, they're just going to stick with Regulation C all the way through it. So yeah.
Yeah, so that is something to be aware of. NAIC will be Regulation C. It's going to be the absolute last thing that we see of this format, at least for a hot minute. And until then, we're gonna talk about whatever we want.
Pretty much.
Because that's how we do things anyway. So,
Facts.
But yeah, Regulation D is now a thing, and with it, we have a bunch of new Pokemon added to the game. And do we have a list of what Pokemon are transferable?
You can go to Cerebi and click on their Season 8, and you'll be able to see all the newly transferable Pokemon.
Where do you see that?
So you go to the link that I'm getting ready to send you. That one. And it will tell you all about the regulation.
Oh, perfect.
This rule set is going to run from July 1st through September 30th. This will be our Worlds meta. This is what we're going to be playing Worlds on. I believe we might start getting DLC by the end of September. Maybe.
I believe that's when the first batch is presumably going to be
rumored.
out.
Yeah. We're not 100% certain on that yet, but I don't know if we'll have any other events on Regulation D outside of exactly Worlds. Like any official events.
Yeah, not sure. But there are some really, really cool Pokemon that got added that we should probably talk about. Evidently, roaming form Gimme Ghoul is now legal.
Yes. You can bring that over for Pokemon Go.
I didn't realize that was... Okay, sure.
Speaking of...
So that's like the main thing we want to talk about, right? Is Gimme Ghoul. Nothing else interesting that was added?
I mean, there was a quartet of genies added.
Yeah, but like everyone knows that they're good.
Well, no one's played with Enamorus yet.
Man, you say that. I've been playing a lot of OU the last couple days.
I meant
it's
before Regulation D rules that no one had played competitive with Enamorus, so we don't know how good it actually is. It could be meh.
So, my hot takes from the amount of singles games I've played. Enamorus Incarnate is really cool because you have access to Contrary. The downside to that is your physical move pool is kind of poop. You do get superpower, which obviously is very good. But your best physical fairy move, of course, is Play Rough. So good luck. Just don't miss.
Yep.
Outside of that, like, you obviously have Terra Blast for whatever coverage you need. You have access to Tailwind. Your bulk is actually pretty decent as well. I mean, it's like a really good Pokemon, right? Like, let's see. 74, 70, 80 bulk is not like absurd, but it's pretty good. The problem is it has 115 attack and 135 special attack.
Yeah.
So like it has a lot of its stats wrapped up into its 2 attacking stats. Whereas the Therian form is just like pure bulk. It's 74, 110, 100. So like, is very bulky and can like be a pretty decent Trick Room sweeper as well because you have access to like Springtide Storm, which is its signature move. It's a fairy type special attack, 180, and it always lowers the opponent's attack stats, right? And it hits both.
It does hit both.
It has a
30%. I was about to say it's not 100%. It's 30%.
Let's see. Anything interesting on this moveset here? Sunny Day, Rain Dance is interesting. Taunt, Imprison. Calm Mind have ran into a lot of Calm Mind users. Slush Bomb's interesting. You also get Iron Head, I believe, so you can like have, depending on whatever like physical or special way you build it, you have a way of dealing with opposing fairies. Yeah, I mean it's really good. The Therian form's obviously very good on Trick Room, having a base speed of 46. But its Therian form also looks stupid, so take that with what you will.
Yep. Take that information with a huge grain of salt. Because we don't know, we really won't know how Enamorus plays until we actually get our hands on it and kind of see what happens with the format around it.
Like I said, I've been playing a lot of OU. It was literally on the first team I built, and it was good. Like, it was super playable. Because you get to do like Tailwind things, and then you also just get to punish opposing Landorus's because you're contrary, so you can then just like one tap them. But the Therian form I haven't played with. I've played against it a handful of times, and every time it's just like, wow, that's really bulky. I need to like dedicate resources into beating this thing up.
Yeah.
Speaking of the new Pokemon that have been added that I've been really impressed with. So looking at these Hisuian, like new Hisuian Pokemon, all of them I've played against in some capacity, and the only ones that I don't think have been like great are specifically like Weirdeer and Overquill. But like Overquill's also just like fine. The problem is Basky Legion does what Overquill wants to do better.
Yeah, Overquill is an interesting one to be sure. Intimidate's like not anything to like scoff at, but there's definitely like
you have a unique typing. Like this is a typing that like, okay, not unique, but is a typing that is good for it.
Yeah, like I'll tell you for free, Poison and Dark is really good. Especially in the format where it's just like, hey, I don't really care about fairies, so I'm like neutral to fairy. I don't really have a weakness outside of ground. The problem is they just added like 5 really good ground types to the game on top of Overquill, so it's kind of just like, what's the word? Collateral damage. That's the word.
Yeah. But where I have seen this is on rain teams.
Oh yeah, it's a Swift Swimmer, isn't it?
It is a Swift Swimmer that is not a water type, which is relevant for rain teams, right? Like you don't want to be all in on mono water types, and then you run into Regieleki and you die. That being said, like again, Basque Legion just does that Swift Swim thing better, because it hits way harder. We're getting access to stab wave crash in the rain is really powerful. but anytime I've played against it, my answer is, alright, how many Pokemon can I throw at this to make them die to their own recoil? That's probably not the way to do it, but that's been my answer to it, and it's kind of worked out.
Yeah, it's probably not the best way to approach that, but you do you, boo-boo. You're having fun, that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so, like, Overquill's been fine. Basque Legion has really impressed me on these rain teams, because, like, Stab Wave Crash is, like, very powerful. And because you're at, like, a decent speed tier of 78, you relatively can, like, outspeed some things, too. So, like, the big problem is OU, you don't have Elegi legal. So, like, being able to do that is kind of awkward. Let's see. You get to 143, which is able to outspeed Eleki because you get to 286. Eleki is 277. So, yeah, in rain, you are able to outspeed. Also, you have Last Respect, which is, like, a busted attack. You have access to Phantom Force, which is good. If you're playing the female version, you have access to, like, really good special coverage and, like, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball. You get Crunch on the physical side. Like, this thing's move pool is really good. Special, like, you also get Icy Wind as well.
Yeah.
Hedge Smash, if you want to do, like, that. I would probably just play Wave Crash because, stab. But, like, the number of times I've played against this, it's like, alright, well, I'm gonna get Wave Crashed here, and I guess I'll figure out how to KO it from there. And then I bring in something weak, and they go, oh yeah, I also have Aqua Jet.
Yeah, I could just beat you up that way, too.
Like, hey, rain's over, Aqua Jet you. It's like, got it, I was not winning this game. I understand.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how a lot of these Sicilian Pokemon kind of fit into the format, because, like, the big ones that stand out, like, we talked about Sneeze earlier a ton, we talk about Ursaluna a ton, like, those two have the potential to be really, really strong, in my opinion. It'll be interesting to see, like a Basque Legion, maybe, like, make its way onto rain teams, or maybe even Overquill kind of sneak into these rain teams where they can fill a different niche role besides the normal water types, because all of our rain setters are just Pelipper, like Pelipper or Rain Dance, Prankster Rain Dance,
or Manual Rain, which like, granted, we did just get 2 new Prankster Pokemon added to the format, and Thundurus and
Tornadus.
Thank you. Played super hard. I was thinking, I don't know why, but I was thinking it's like Rainerus. That's right? It sets rain.
Not quite Rainerus, but you're close.
Could not for the life of me think of the word Tornadus.
Understandable. Yeah, let's talk about Tornadus and Landorus and all of them real quick, because I think they're going to be a big deal.
I do want to circle back to Cleveland.
Okay.
Just so like putting that out there. Talking about the genies though, they also got like new signature attacks that also make them viable on like rain teams, right? Like they're for whatever reason, their new signature attack is 100% accurate in rain, and it's just like good.
Not the enamorous one. The other three.
Correct. The other three though.
Yes, the other three.
because the ground type one needs to have perfect accuracy in rain.
Right? Like, that makes 0 sense as to why it needs it, but sure, we'll just go with it, huh?
So, Tornadus has access to Bleak Wind Storm, which is 180 special flying type attack, which has a 30% chance to lower the speed stats of opposing Pokemon. Pretty okay.
I would call that decent for sure.
Then Thundurus has access to Wild Bolt Storm, which is an electric 180 with a 20% chance to paralysis opposing Pokemon. Also pretty okay.
Yep, pretty fine.
And then there's Landorus. I don't know what Landorus does.
Landorus from Bright is burn.
It has a chance to burn.
Yeah, it's like searing sand or whatever the
Sand Seer Storm.
It's like whatever the tutor move from Isla Armor was.
Scorching Sands. Yeah.
That's the word.
But this hits both of them.
Yes.
And it's perfect accuracy in rain. See, Carl, didn't you want Spread Scald? Isn't that exactly what you wanted?
No. That is the complete opposite of what I wanted.
I'm so excited for this. It seems so stupid.
It's because it is.
And like, I'm getting in the lab. Hold on.
Oh no. We're gonna be here for a minute. Get comfy, people.
I mean, it's just like Pelipper plus Landorus seems really cool.
I mean, Landorus is one of the only genies that doesn't get Tailwind.
Which is like fine. It's not good, but it's fine. It's a real shame that its only abilities are Sand Force or Sheer Force, and I don't want Sheer Force because I want to be able to burn them.
Yeah.
So the correct play then is obviously play Special Landotherian. Oh, this looks stupid and I hate it already.
Oh, God. Well.
It's just, it seems so cool. Like, intimidate you and then, like, spread burn you. Oh, yeah, this sounds great. I'm all for it.
What's the chance to burn on that? Like 30%?
20, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 20.
That's not as bad.
Technically less than Scald, but you hit both of them, so technically better than Scald.
Until you run into Earthworm, yeah, it'll be great.
And now I'm sad. Thanks,
You're
Carl.
welcome. I'm good at that.
There it is. And sad. So yeah, I mean the genies, they're something that we've seen in literally every generation since they've been like brought into the game. They're good.
Yeah.
Like I don't see like Tornadus Therian is kind of bad. And has access to Regenerator, but like that's kind of it.
It's not bringing the bread home like the other ones are.
Yeah, not really. Like you lose special attack, and attack for speed, and I guess a little bit of bulk, but yeah, I'm good. I would rather hit hard.
One of my big like up and coming Pokemon that I'm excited for is the Therian forms of like Thundurus and Enamorus. I think those could be really, really cool. Thundurus Therian having Volt Absorb means that you're a natural Legia counter, while also just being able to Terra into whatever and can deal with a lot of stuff. Enamorus Therian's going to be like the new Trick Room Sweeper. It's going to be the new Glastrier, probably.
Yeah, because Glastrier kind of poopy.
Yeah, they took away a lot of Glastrier's like accurate stuff in terms of like
dude,
good.
they nerfed it. its only physical ice attack now is Avalanche or Icicle Crash.
Yeah. There is no Icicle Spear for loaded dice shenanigans, unfortunately. There is no Ice Spinner like it probably should have gotten, but I'm kind of glad it didn't.
Or you could Terra Blast Ice.
Or you could Terra Ice, Terra Blast Ice, yes.
Which doesn't sound stupid, but when you consider that, you could Terra Fire and be able to win the mirror and not be burnt, or, any other combination of, like, other good Terra types. Yeah. I played a little bit today with Terra Electric, and it's so you can, like, Terra in front of Urshifu and punch it. It was fine. Like, you lose your fighting weakness and then can one-shot back. It's kind of cool, but I didn't play a lot of that team because it was, like, a dedicated Trick Room team. And singles is much harder for Trick Room to be any kind of viable because your Trick Room setters typically aren't your Trick Room sweepers. So then, like, you're, like, lunar dancing with Cresselia to bring in Ursaluna. And then it's like, alright, well, I just got rid of my burn, so now I need to protect for a turn to get my burn back. And suddenly I'm 3 turns into my Trick Room and I haven't attacked once.
Yeah, you haven't done a dang thing all game, yeah. Yeah, Trick Room in singles it just doesn't do it. Especially right now where we really are lacking, like, really good sweepers. Like, you have Ursaluna, but it's not a setter sweeper like Hatterene was back in Sword and Shield and things like that.
And, like, granted, we do have Hatterene, and that's, like, fine. But
Hatterene's missing its I'm going to confuse you and so you can't attack me so I get to do my thing button.
Correct. And, like, Cresselia's fine. But if you're trying to do Trick Room things, I feel like Cresselia's not what you want. Cresselia is really good at, like, doing Calm Mind Ice Beam stuff.
In singles, yeah, for sure. Like, it's definitely not a Trick Room setup.
Obviously in Trick Room, obviously in VGC, this thing is absurd now, especially with Lunar Blessing. I think that this thing is going to be absolutely absurd. Like,
yeah,
put safety goggles on this thing so it can never be put to sleep, and then Lunar Blessing so that, like, Amoonguss is never able to annoy you. This seems so freaking good.
A lot of what people have been doing with it is just, like, very bulky Trick Room sets.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you play, like, specifically either Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, whichever fairy move it is you get, I don't remember. And you're Terra Fairy, so you can sit in front of things like Fluttermane and the Ruin Pokemon and not be scared of them. And Urshifu. I forgot Urshifu's a thing now. You get to sit in front of all of those Pokemon, and they kind of just sit there and stare at you and just like, I can't hit you for super effective damage anymore. How am I going to break through this wall of a Pokemon? I think Cresselia is going to be in for a major glow up from the Sword and Shield.
Dude, I really hope so.
It is going to be really good, I think.
So. I'm a big fan of what Cresselia is doing, and the fact that, like, Lunar Blessing is now a thing is just absurd. Like, Ursaluna now having access to recovery because your partner has it seems absurd to me.
Yeah, that's actually really good for specifically Cresselia.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is really, really good.
Okay, is there any other Pokemon we want to talk about?
Yeah, let's go talk about Cleavor. And to an extent, Hisuian Samurott. So both of these have signature attacks that set hazards. In the form of Cleavor, it's Stone Axe that sets Stealth Rocks. Dude, I am struggling tonight.
I was about to say, yeah. So
hard.
They both set Stealth Rock, right?
No. Samurott sets spikes.
Okay.
So that is all, like very different because spikes only hurt grounded Pokemon. So stuff like Zapdos and Cresselia is immune to it. Whereas with Stone Axe, you're able to set Stealth Rocks, which hits everything. It's just a variable amount that it hits everything for.
Okay.
So, for those who don't know, hazards are like a huge proponent as to what makes singles viable. Having this like residual damage, having this passive damage that punishes switching is what makes them so valuable. And as a result, because doubles is so much faster paced gameplay, you typically don't see hazards being viable. That being said, I think there is an argument to see both of these moves like just being incidentally played on these Pokemon, and as a result, hazards having to be something that you have to learn to respect when it comes to like calcs. Being able to go, okay, can I switch in, take hazards, and live a hit from Flutter Mane to be able to pick it up? Something like that is very relevant now.
Yeah.
And so there's obviously a couple different ways you can get rid of hazards. Because, like, not only are these two viable, but Glamora also has, Toxic Debris, which sets Toxic Spikes. And, like, this is something that people have had to deal with since it came out. So being able to now find an answer for these rocks, I think, is going to be something that is it kind of explored. I know Tim on Discord the other night was talking about Tidy Up on Mousehold, because it cleans up hazards and it's a dragon dance.
Yeah. Like Tidy Up specifically is going to see probably a lot more play, because I do expect things like Cleavor to be very, very popular.
And something that's really popular for OU is Rapid Spin Great Tusk. Rapid Spin is able to clear your rocks, not your opponent's, while also giving you a +1 speed. So it removes the hazards on your side, makes you now faster than your opponent, so then you can actually pressure them the following turn. Again, the big problem with, like, specifically Great Tusk is its special bulk is very minuscule, and so you're not able to live a lot of hits on that side. So, a single double up means that you're now KO'd.
Yep.
But, being able to get a single boost, if you're, like, an AV set with, I don't know if AV is actually going to be viable on Great Tusk, seeing how your special defense is 53. But, getting a +1 on your base 87 Pokemon means that you're actually going to outspeed some pretty relevant Pokemon.
Yeah. You also, like, on the subject of hazards, like, I saw from a lot of your replays is, like, you have, like, Quark Change Cinderace, too.
That is something I was playing, yeah. Specifically, like, Cinderace, you're like, alright, well, cool. You have Tailwind up. I have these rocks that I don't want. It would be a real shame if something happened to get rid of them.
Let's just swap. How's that sound? Sounds good to me.
Change also trades screens. So if that's something that's relevant, like, you can, like, steal your opponent's screens from them. It's a really niche move, but man, is it like highly impactful.
Yeah. Speaking of other Galar starters, Rillaboom got a significant nerf. No longer has access to Grassy Glide, if I remember right.
Darn, what a shame.
Oh no.
Anyway.
It's still going to see play, probably because bulky grass type with Fake Out. Like, you can't turn this away.
Grassy Terrain's good, right? Like, that's the real reason you're going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Like, Grassy Terrain's really relevant in a format where Palafin's playable. Being able to have this, like, residual recovery while also being able to resist hits from Palafin makes it, like, viable. The big thing is, like, is your base 70 special defense, are you able to live hits from Flutter Mane and then, like, pick up a KO with something like, either a drum beating, which base 80 probably can get there, or do you need Woodhammer at base 120 to be able to KO it?
The sets I'm expecting are, like, Assault Vest with, like, either Knockoff or Snarl. You have access to Woodhammer. You have access to, like you said, Drum Beating, which is kind of cool. because it's a guaranteed lowering of the speed stat.
Here's something for you. Rillaboom gets Worry Seed as a egg move now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's relevant whatsoever, but that is cool.
Notable that Fake Out is an egg move in this game, in this generation.
Was it not in the last gen?
I don't remember it being one in the last gen.
Give me 2 seconds, I can tell you.
So Fake Out, it's only going to be able to get it via the Persian line, the Pikachu line,
yep.
Sneasel line.
It was an egg move last
Was it?
gen.
Okay. But like you're gonna have to put Fake Out on your Rillaboom in order to have it now, unless you just have it from Sword and Shield and transfer it up.
Yeah, which like if you just transfer it up, that's no big deal. You already have it. And like AV Rillaboom is not something that is super uncommon. That is something that people played in Sword and Shield. It's just a matter of like how are you building it now?
I was about to ask if we lost U-turn or not because I couldn't find it. I'm just blind. We have it.
Yeah, U-turn's there. You also get knockoff still, which is very relevant. You're one of the few Pokemon that actually has it in its move pools.
Yep.
So like that is relevant. Is it worth playing in that last slot over something like Snarl?
Depends on your set, probably what you want to do.
Time will tell. I probably am leaning towards no, but end of the day, like having access to these like niche moves can mean a world of difference. When people aren't expecting these like attacks, it can be very relevant.
Yeah.
Being able to like, I don't know, knock off a leftovers or like safety goggles if you have this paired with Amoonguss, which I probably wouldn't do. I don't think you need multiple grass types, but being able to knock away like a covert cloak or a clear amulet and then be able to pivot in your Landorus and get an intimidate off. Like those are relevant abilities, right? Like taking away a Mystic Water from Palafin means that like its damage output is severely nerfed now. But at the same time, Booster Energy is very popular on the Pokemon that have access to it, and like that's a consumable. If Rillaboom does become popular, you can pair this with like Sneasler and immediately get your Unburden boost with Grassy Seed. That is something that we saw in the past with like any of the Unburdened mons there. I think the real one that was like impactful was Drifblim. Like fast Drifblim as a support Pokemon was like viable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Rillaboom is good. It's not great. I think it's the simplest way to put it now.
I could see that.
Let's see. Just kind of scrolling up here some more. Dragon's Maw for Regidrago did not get nerfed.
No.
Whereas Transistor for Regieleki did.
Yeah.
That is very relevant. Your damage calcs for Eleki are going to be more favorable for you than the Eleki player.
I'll tell you right now, just play Ting Lu.
Yeah, Ting Lu sits in front of it and makes it sad.
Like, they can't OHKO you with Terra, Ice, Choice Specs, Modest Terra Blast. They cannot OHKO you.
Absurd.
Like, you...
The fact that you just said those words upset me.
You cannot OHKO Ting Lu. Like, 0 HP, 0 special defense Ting Lu is not OHKO'd by Terra, Ice, Choice Specs, Modest, Eleki, Terra Blast.
Speaking of Eleki, for the singles players out there, it got banned in less than a day.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It is the fastest OU ban in history.
I mean, it's probably well deserved for singles.
Oh, it was so absurd. I've been playing with Hisuian Electrode, which does its best to be an
I'm about to say
Eleki impersonation.
It's Eleki at home for people.
And, dude, it really is. It's really fast, and, like, I've been playing Specs on it, and with Specs, you have, like, actually pretty decent damage output. Because people don't expect, like, people will swap in, like, Great Tusk and, like, Garchomps in front of this, and you just Terra Blast them and one-shot
like,
them and make them sad.
I'm gonna blow you up. What you gonna do about it?
I couldn't tell you the number of, like, Dragapult, Garchomp, Great Tusk I've one-shot when they swap in. and then like you just get to pivot out and save this for the end game against like opposing Urshifus. Like it's really impactful. I've been playing it a lot with like Scarf Urshifu and like U-turn Landorus. You're just like, all right, Volt Switch, go into this, intimidate you, and U-turn off of this, bring in my sweeper, and oh nope, this isn't favorable. U-turn, go back into the Electrode.
Yeah, just kind of pivot around back and forth.
Did you know pivot moves are really good?
Yeah, especially in a format where there's only one target.
Correct. When you don't have to worry about protect, it's really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like specifically for Regieleki in general, it's not going to be as good as it was in the Sword and Shield era. There's no Dynamax to make it super bulky and live more than one hit. Like you can't get away with these Life Orb sets that Dynamax anymore. There's just not a thing.
No, it just doesn't exist.
You're almost always going to probably be Spec, Scarf, or Sash. Like,
I would be surprised if really anything other than like Sash is viable.
Scarf will probably be the one that's just like, I want to beat other Regieleki, so I'm going to be cheeky and have my Scarf so I can know I know I'm going first situation. Mm-hmm. Specs is going to be for the ones that just want to click the Terra button when they need to and just deal damage. Sash will probably be for the ones that are playing like Electro Web and Protect and want to kind of be a mixture support attacker kind of situation. But yeah, like the fact that we got 5 very powerful ground types coming into the format and Regieleki's kind of just like, I could Terra Ice, but I'm not really going to do much else in front of these guys. It tells you a lot about just like the power that Regieleki, even though it is the fastest Pokemon in the game, it's not going to be overpowered as people are expecting it to be.
Yep, exactly. Eleki is good, and probably you could definitely still classify it as great.
Yeah.
So again, just kind of scrolling here, something else we can talk about. We have 2 grass fighting types that are being added. Do you want to talk about Lilligant and or Decidueye?
So the Hisuian Lilligant is going to replace all Lilligant going forward.
This thing's really good, man.
It's only because Hisuian Lilligant is faster than regular Lilligant.
And it also has access to a signature attack called Victory Dance, which is physical quiver dance.
Yeah, that's not as big a why we're going to see it in doubles, but yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like fine. It makes your 105 attack really powerful, your 105 speed very viable as well, and like gives you a pretty decent defense boost on your base 75 defense.
Yeah. But a lot of what's going to do it, it's literally just going to be chlorophyll sleep powder.
Yeah, like I mean that's what it needs to do. You most likely are still Sash. If you ever get the opportunity to set up, cool. I don't expect it to happen often, if ever.
You might get a couple where you're just like, oh, am I going to protect or am I going to victory dance? Which one am I going to do? And you might get a couple people with that. But you're so frail anyway. Like, you'd almost have to Terra to set up that way and maybe eat a hit. And then you get to do your thing.
I need Angelo to make a poll for Twitter to poll what people want to see for lettering on, like, day 1. So I can start, like, brewing and building teams and everything.
Chalk.
I would be surprised if the correct answer is not the bear.
Oh, 100%,
because, like,
right?
A lot of people are just super excited for the bear. But man, there's a lot of really cool Pokemon that like no one has got to play with yet.
We get to play with all this
about
this month because we're doing the draft league.
Like, I sat here and got to talk about Hisuian Electrode, which is not something I ever thought I'd get to say. And man, I really wish I had this in RTT. I think this thing is so freaking cool.
I would feel like Hisuian Electrode is not regular Electrode.
It is much better if you can believe that. Did you know Stab Energy Ball smacks really hard?
I was about to say, having a second stab that's actually good. Oh. But, like, there's a lot of, like, Alolan Pokemon that we're getting that I'm super excited to play with in both VGC and the Draft League. We're getting Galar Birds and Kanto Birds. So we have, like, Zapdos and Galarian Moltres to play with again.
I love how you phrase it as Zapdos and Galarian Moltres, which just makes me think Kanto Zapdos.
Yes, it is.
I know
Kanto Zapdos.
I was going to say, I didn't know if that's what you intended,
yes.
But that's what I thought.
Those are the two big ones from Sword and Shield, so it's just like we'll get to play with those again. I don't think Articuno's going to be any good.
No. Articuno does get Tailwind.
It does, but now the other ones do too, so it don't matter.
It's also true. Not Zapdos, though. Zapdos doesn't need it.
Zapdos gets it anyway.
Zapdos doesn't have Tailwind.
In this gen it does.
No, it doesn't.
It should.
Alright, well, I'm just stupid. Never mind.
I was about to say, Tailwind's a TM.
Yeah, fine. Whatever. I'll show myself out.
Yeah, I was about to say, they both get it. You can do it with your Roadrunner, or you can do it with the Lightning Burb.
Okay, so kind of just like rapid firing some stuff here. Arcanine is whatever. Haha, funny head smash.
I was about to say,
right?
someone's going to do something with Rockhead and it'll be funny, but that's about it, really.
Alolan Muck. We haven't seen this thing since, Ultra Sun.
I'm about to say Ultra Sun, Ultramoon.
It was like moderately viable then. I'm not saying that makes it moderately viable now. Power creep is very much a thing. And when you take neutral hits to Fairy, it's not a great position to be in.
I mean, the bulk is still really good on this thing. Like, there's no wasted stats on Alolan Muck.
That is true. Like, your 65 special attack is whatever. Your base 50 speed is like also kind of whatever. But again, when you have the bulk to back it up of 105, 75, 100, a base attack of 105, like you can do some serious damage.
Mm-hmm.
I think this thing behind like Reflect can do some pretty nasty stuff. The question is like, is that what you need to make this thing viable? Because like, here's the thing. T-Camp and I were brewing with Muck previously, right? And like Alolan Muck is just a strict upgrade. And I think it's just like a strict upgrade for that team. I should probably message him and be like, hey, Muck time?
Now is it Muck time? Yeah. Alolan Muck it's just a strict upgrade, right? Alolan Muck gets better support tools because Dark type, the typing overall gets so much better. You've lost a lot of your big weaknesses that are kind of scary. Like, in this generation, you get Snarl, which is really cool. Knockoff by Level Up. You are a toxic Pokemon, too, so that's kind of cool. Oh, you get Stone Edge and Rock Slide. Oh, you get regular Muck gets Rock Slide, but you get Stone Edge? That's kind of cool.
Does regular Muck not get Stone
Regular
Edge?
Muck does not get Stone Edge.
Weird. Okay. Speaking of, like, cool poison types that are added, Galarian Slowking's back. I think this is more of just like a singles Pokemon.
Does it have chili reception like the other one?
It does.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I was about to say that it better have it, because it would make zero sense to give it to Johto Slowking but not Galar Slowking.
So what I've seen this doing is you set Trick Room and then chili reception and go into Glastrier, which then gives you your defense boost on Glastrier. Is that viable here? I don't know. Maybe something else to play with. Regenerator's a very good ability for a reason, and being able to pivot out at a drop of a hat is really good. So, like I think that one's just like a wait and see kind of.
Man,
deal.
there's
It
gotta
might
be a
viable.
Pokemon that's going to have this move as something else. Like, literally, Chilly Reception is only learned by Slowking, and that's it. And it's by move reminder.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
it's by a move reminder. Fun fact: Galarian Slowking gets toxic via move reminder too.
Huh. Well then.
Yeah, just food for thought there. The stats don't change a ton, right? It's pull 10 out of attack, put it in special attack or something like that.
Between
Slowking and Johto Slowking.
Yeah, you lose 10 attack, gain 10 special attack.
So it's not like you could play either or probably and be fine. Galar has more weaknesses, but also has some more unique resists, which is cool.
Which is, yeah, very, very accurate. Oh, we haven't even talked about Heatran.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we're getting... I literally said Chalk and I forgot we're just getting Heatran.
Yeah, Heatran good.
Heatran's scary. Heatran's going to be strong.
I've been playing a lot of Heatran the last couple days, too. Terra Grass Heatran makes Urshifu sad. But here's also the other thing. I haven't played with Dark Urshifu because it's banned in OU. Like, also understandably, that thing's obnoxious.
Yeah.
So, this is probably, like, still good. Like, being able to gain a resistance, like, gaining all the resistances that Grass type would add, while also having a fire immunity thanks to Flash Fire is really cool.
Did Heatran always get Power Gem? Is that new?
Hold on, let me check last gen.
I don't remember it last gen. I remember Ancient Power last gen. I don't remember Power Gem.
Not last gen. Let me check 7. Nope, that's new.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I know we got Dragon Pulse before.
Yep.
I know we got Earth Power before.
Yep. Let's see.
Steel Beam's a TM.
Bring back...
That's kind of cool.
I'm gonna say it. Bring back Eruption Heatran.
God, no, we're fine. We're good. We don't need it.
I know we're good, but by golly, I want it.
You don't need it. Play your Heat Wave and be fine.
Heat Wave misses too much.
Dude, we
I
skipped over the other steel type that we're getting, Hisuian Gudra.
Dude, I've played against it a lot. I don't think it's that good.
Man, then people just don't know what to do with this thing, because it's scary.
That's the thing, right? Like, I think I've lost to it once in the times that I've seen it. And the time that I lost to it, it was just like, well, you answered my answer to this fairly early, and now I just, like, can't do anything. But yeah, I've seen a couple different versions of it. One is, like, you're doing, like, shelter plus, like, body press things. There's another set that's just like, yeah, I'm body press AV. Like, yeah, that hurts. You get access to Dragon Tail, which obviously in singles is more viable because, like, forcing out and going into a random Pokemon to take hazards damage is good. But, I mean...
You're also playing a format that's kind of
defense.
dominated by fighting types.
I mean, you say that, but, like, not really.
Urshifu?
Like, it's just Urshifu. That's it.
You were literally just talking about how you wanted to avoid more fighting weaknesses because you had so many fighting weaknesses.
Well, okay. No, I said I wanted to avoid fighting types because I was playing the two that were viable in the format, and Sneasler and Urshifu.
Well, then, yeah, like, that's literally... There's clearly a second fighting type that's viable, then.
I mean, that's, like, it, though. And, like, of those two, I've played against way more Urshifus than I have Sneaslers.
How many Cinderace run high jump kick?
I honestly think 0.
Really? One of the strongest moves it gets access to. Just like, nah.
I don't think I've seen it once. I also don't... I bet I could probably count on one hand the number of Cinderaces I've seen.
A lot, because you played it.
True. True. One. Let's see. Let's go to overuse.
Like,
and let's type
you have to think about the format that you're playing in. There's no Fluttermane. Like, so immediately, all your fighting types, all your dark types get much better.
Oh, yeah, duh, Great Tusk. That's, like, the viable fighting type.
Yeah.
To answer your question about Cinderace, 9% play high jump.
There you go. I knew it was not 0. But we have to think about this in like a doubles aspect. This thing's actually going to be scary in doubles because you could put like an Amoonguss next to it, and that Fluttermane's not going to break through it anytime soon. So it's just like, I'm just going to set up and I'm going to just do my thing, and you're not going to really get to do anything with it. Notable, this Pokemon gets to abuse Sap Sipper better than regular Goodra. We have base 100 attack on Hisuian Goodra. So we actually like get to use and abuse all of the Sap Sipper bonuses we have. I think we're base 80 speed.
For Hisuian, you're base 60.
For Hisuian, we're base 60.
Yeah, regular is base 80. You are base 60.
So we kind of get to play in Trick Room if we want to.
More viable than otherwise, yes.
Yeah. So I definitely think that Hisuian Goodra, especially for doubles, is going to be much more of a viable Pokemon. Just mainly because Hisuian Goodra gets all the benefits of regular Goodra without the big fairy weakness and dragon weakness that it has to begin with.
I don't know. I'm ready to be proven wrong on this one.
Let's say you've also been on the singles kick for like the last 3 days. True. And so all you've been doing is playing singles.
Which, like, it's where I can play the new Pokemon right now. I can finally test out the new stuff and tell you that, hey, Dire Claw's 30% chance to hit a status is a lie. I think I've clicked Dire Claw a bunch. I'm Poison Touch Dire Claw, and I think I've gotten 1 status off of it.
I mean, it's better than none.
You're not incorrect. It won me the game because it put my opponent to sleep.
But yeah, I think a lot of these new Pokemon will have impact on the format. It's just going to probably take a little bit of finagling and calcing and stuff. It'll make for a very exciting Worlds format.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I nobody, like,
really cool
there's not going to be any big events with this thing, so everyone's going to be, like, hiding their techs and testing and secret and not really sharing anything. So, of course, they wanted the one Worlds that's going to be in Japan to be super exclusive and special, so.
Yeah, sure, why not, right? Like, sure. We didn't talk about Cinderace. I think Cinderace is probably fine. It's really fast. It hits really hard. Inteleon, I can count on one hand the number of Inteleons I've played against. It's 0. Honestly, same with Greninja. I haven't played against a single Greninja.
It's just not that good, dude.
Again, I'm playing, like, the format it's dominated for years.
It's just not that good.
It's not anymore. Battle Bond is what made that thing busted.
Yep.
And, like, the Protein nerf also, like,
yeah, the big changes to Protean and the changes to Battle Bond and the kind of just essential power creep that kind of pushed it out. There's a lot better Pokemon than Greninja now.
Played against a lot of Zamazenta because for some reason that's legal in OU.
Because it had a partner named Zacian kind of dominating the format. Zamazenta in this gen gets body press, so
I am well aware.
which made zero sense going into like playing in Sword and Shield. It's like, let's not give the dog that's fighting type and has a defense stat that's actually decent and can use this move body press. Let's just not give it that. And oh, well, now that we're out of Sword and Shield, now you can have body press.
Carl, it's okay. It gets access to Behemoth Bash.
It just does nothing.
It literally does nothing.
It's a move. It's a steal move with no effect now. Did they change the effect on it or at all, or is it just still just like
the user's body becomes a firm shield and slams into the target fiercely? That's it. That's all it says.
That's great.
Also, it's just Ironhead that turns into it. I thought it was a physical steel move that.
No, it's just Ironhead.
Is it okay? Shows what I know. All right. Well, looking through the rest of the Pokemon here, I feel like we talked about really everything that like I wanted to.
Try to think of anything else hiding in here. Hisuian Zoroark will be cool, but it's not gonna do anything crazy.
Yeah, it's fine. It's better Zoroark.
We got off topic before we got to talk about Chestnut.
There's a reason.
Of the grass and fighting types, I think Chestnut actually might see more play than
I guess we got
Lilligant, so
we talked about. I said we had 2 grass fighting types get at it. I completely forgot Chestnut was grass fighting.
Yeah. The thing's bulky. Its ability's not that great, but it's bulky and its shiny is really cool.
Hey, did you know Pyro Ball is a bullet move?
Yes.
Yeah, I learned this because I played against Chestnut. I'm just like, that's really awkward. Huh.
Chestnut gets to do some cool things because it's just like a very bulky defensive grass type.
It gets Wide Guard, gets Synthesis. If you want to go that route, you can Curse, like set up Curse with it.
You have Pain Split, which is really cool for something that's not a ghost type.
Magearna also gets Pain Split. Learned that one today.
Interesting.
Chestnut shiny is gross.
No, I love it. It's
the more I look at it, the more I want to punch it.
You will hurt your hand, but go for it, bud. But yeah, I like Chestnut a lot. I think like it might be a neat niche Pokemon. We'll have to see how it kind of falls around here and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. There's probably a really nasty body press set somewhere in here that's going to probably pop up and we'll see it once or twice and then kind of not see it again for a while.
That's usually how that goes.
Just like we saw Magnezone today on camera and we probably won't see it again for however long.
Dude, Magnezone had a really good weekend.
Yeah.
Across, like, multiple events.
And we will probably never see it again. Because that's how it works.
Yep, it had its time in the sun for, 5 minutes.
Now that we're getting Rillaboom, it might act like it might see play in Regulation D because Grassy Seed and Grassy Terrain was a big thing for it. But I'm not holding my breath any.
Oh, yeah, like, it's, I'm good.
But yeah, that's all I want to talk about this week.
Let's see. Magnezone finished 3rd at the...
Torrent event, yeah.
The special event.
And then 18th was the highest placed in NA in the Milwaukee event.
Yep. I'm looking at the Lab Mouse page here for it because Tim pulled one up. And it's not on. The Milwaukee results aren't on there yet.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
The Magnazone from the Torrent event was Spec Sturdy with Terra Blast, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, and Flash Cannon, if I remember correctly. Terra Flying, which was really, really cool.
Yes, all of them this weekend were terrifying.
Not all of them.
Okay, let me rephrase that. The one on the page
the one in Torrent is, yes. The ones in Milwaukee, there was a combination of like Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt, Helping Hand Protect, with Analytic and like Terra Water was a very common one. Terra Flying wasn't crazy, like it's not crazy popular, but it's good enough to where it's just like I'm going to ignore my 4x weakness, and you have to now hit me with one of the Pokemon that like with one of the types that I had originally resisted. So, do with that what you will. It's kind of cool in that aspect, but I don't think we'll see Magnazone again anytime soon. I think it was a cool niche thing, and it probably will just fade off. It probably won't get the same treatment as like Orthworm did or other stuff like that.
Probably not, unfortunately. Orthworm has a cult, so...
Yep. Alex Underhill took Jay's title of best Orthworm finish in NA.
For now, Jay's clearly going to make a comeback and go finish first.
He's got to go play
Jay's
NA.
Jay's going to go win.
Got to go play NAIC so he can go qualify for Worlds now.
Man, I want that for him.
Same. All right.
But,
is there anything else?
Are we ready to get out of here? Are we ready to go to bed? I still have to go eat.
Say, I ate before we started. I was smart.
Well, dinner wasn't ready yet, so. But yeah, I think it's about time we get out of here so I can go eat and go to bed because tomorrow's going to be abysmal. So if you're listening to this, don't message me, and if you see me on Discord, tell me to get off and go back to work.
Also, if you're listening to this and you haven't yet, go sign up for the Draft League.
Yeah, because signups close in, by the time this goes up, about 13 hours?
Yeah, something like that. 13, 14 hours. Whenever I'm going to bed that night, probably.
Yeah, whenever Carl says, yeah, that's probably enough.
So yeah, you better get it in now.
I think we're at like 50-something. I would really like to hit...
is the current number, I think.
I'd really like to hit 64 to make 4 groups of 16. So if you're on the fence about signing up, don't be. Go sign up. Like, I mean, it's literally, there's no downside to it. Like, it's all pure upside. And you get to, play with the new Pokemon before anyone else does.
Exactly. Also, little announcement, if you're listening to this and you are already signed up, logo submissions, the form for that is open and it'll be in the Discord shortly. All you'll have to do is submit your logo via the forum there. That way we have access to it and all that jazz.
Yep.
You don't have to have a logo, but it makes it much more fun if you do.
Yeah, and, obviously, team names and all that are, represent yourself.
Yeah. We will need team names, but logos are optional.
Yep. So, I think it's time to get out of here.
Yep.
So, like Carl said, go sign up for the Draft League. It's going to be a good time. And you can do that over in our Discord. That's, link is always down in the show notes. Make sure you go ahead and follow us over on Twitter at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri25, Carl's at Musical VGC. Carl and I are both on Twitch as well. And, I've been following some streams and stuff here the last few weeks. I know Diablo 4 comes out this week. I know you were watching some of it and convinced you're getting it? Are you buying it?
I probably will be buying it. I gotta buy paint first, though.
That's also fair.
If I buy it once I get paint bought and once we get that all taken care of, then I can probably buy it. But we're at least gonna wait until after we buy paint tomorrow, maybe.
All right, cool. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm super excited for that. Let's see. Twitter, Twitch, Discord, website.
Sure. I don't know where you're at.
lrlessons.com. Go and check it out. We might have some more articles going up here sooner rather than later. If you're interested in writing for us, reach out, let us know. We're always looking for writers to have somewhere to publish their stuff.
Yep.
Merch page is still up as well if you want to go and pick up some merch. That is always available there on the website as well. Past that, you can always go ahead and support us over on Patreon as well. I want to give a shout out to our $10 and up patrons, including Johnny Bravo Sr. and Papa Swish, and Smeargle over on Discord, who has the $10 a month Discord subscription, which I still don't know how it works, but hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, I don't know how it works either, but cool.
And I think, with that being said, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next week, we will see you then. Have a good one. Peace.